Hey, how you doing out there? This is Del Rivers Record Collection number 14. And if I forgot 13, I'll go back to it and redo it. But I'm pretty sure that it's now number 14. Today I decided to do one on two different bands, one local from Rochester and one national. The national one is Van Morrison. I don't have all my Van Morrison stuff, but there's a few things here that are pretty cool and worth mentioning. Let's see, we'll start with one of his most popular albums. I found this for like $1. It's Van Morrison Astral Weeks. It's really cool. There it is, my fisheye lens. Here's the back. It's got a lot of cool songs on that. One of his best albums. The last song there is called Slim Slow Slider. Anyone familiar with Johnny Rivers music will know that song. He actually named the whole album after that song. I think it's one of his albums that looked kind of a bluish cover. It was pretty popular in the 70s, I guess, around that time. Also from Van Morrison, picked up a few cool items here. I got Van Morrison, the Bang Masters. I'm going to have a lot of reflection. I apologize for that. This is the Bang Masters from Van Morrison. Has all his early stuff from the late 60s. This is after he was in with Them. Popular for, of course, you know, Gloria, which almost every garage band on earth covered. I gotta get rid of this stupid box. You know, so after he left Them kept going actually for a while. They had a different couple of people that took Van Morrison's place, and they had another name, but which I can't think of at the top of my head. But anyway, Van went solo, and he did quite a bit in the late 60s, early 70s. That's one. This is a typical one, best of Van Morrison. If you want to get a good start on your Van Morrison collection, best of. It has, of course, Moon Dance is a popular hit. He had a few hits that are pretty cool. Yeah, Domino, that was pretty big. Jackie Wilson Said. Of course, Brown Eyed Girl, which they overplayed too much. And the one song that Rod Stewart did, it's not on here, but there's another song called Wild Night. It's a great tune that's on here. That's the best of. Some of the newer stuff I've got right here, I got in my collection. I got some in my storage unit, but I got the newest stuff. Van Morrison, latest record project, Volume 1. Call it Volume 1. Latest record project. It's got a nice collection there, a 2-disc set. He always sounds the same too. He never sounds like his voice hasn't changed like everybody else. It seems like he keeps has that same trademark sound. But lately he's been putting out a lot of albums. I don't know why, if there's a reason behind it, or he's just having a good time, which I think he is. This is one of the newest ones. Van Morrison, Accentuate the Positive. That's a great tune. Accentuate the Positive. It was done by NRBQ, and he does it on here. It's like a song that I think Bing Crosby had a hit with it, or one of those guys from the 1940s. And this is loaded with no originals on this one. The last one had originals. This is just basic cover songs that he liked doing. If I can get the focus on it. A lot of cover tunes on here. Let's see what's a good one. Well, I mentioned the title track's Accentuate. Does like Flip, Flop, and Fly by Bill Haley. A Shot of Rhythm and Blues, Shaking All Over by Johnny Kidd. That's a song that's covered by a lot of bands as much as Gloria is Them. It's done by a lot of groups. Alright, I think that's what I have left for my Van Morrison stuff until I come back with more 45s and things. I got a lot of 45s and albums, but they're in my storage unit. I don't have everything here. I got quite a bit here, but not a lot. I gotta bring it all back. Anyway, there's another band that I followed in Rochester, and there's a slight Beatles connotation or connection to this. I'll show you at the end. Not Beatles, but like John Lennon type thing. This is their first. Well, let me do the band started out with 45s, like many bands, 45s and EPs. It's a group called. They used to be called the High Techs. It was with Paul Dodd, who used to be in New Math, Martin Edick, Peggy Fournier, and Ned Hoskin. They were in the High Techs. But after the High Techs, well, I don't know if this is High Techs or Personal Effects. Screaming your head? I gotta scream in my head, I can't stand it! Back with A Woman's Revenge. It's either High Techs or Personal Effects. This has a different lineup, I think. Oh, it's the same lineup. It has Martin Edick on here too, so I'm assuming it's the High Techs. But they didn't put the title of the band on here. I don't know why. It's a Record Archive production when they used to make 45s of local bands. You gotta just see the thing here. If I could show it the right way. There it is. There's a B-side of that. I think they went from Record Archive Records to Earring. They had started their own business called Earring Records. Then more recent, on a celebration, they had the Personal Effects, a collection. There, it's pretty cool. Picture of Peggy Fournier. It has everybody on here, and on this one, it mentions Peggy Fournier on sax, keyboards, and vocals. Bob Martin on lead guitar, or guitars and vocals. Paul Dodd, same guy from the High Techs, on drums. And the bass player, it has three of them that played with the High Techs. Martin Edick, Bernie Heveron, who I used to live next door to, Robin Mills, or Kevin McKelvey. But after a while, well, here's some more stuff. Let me show you these first. This is the connection I got too. You got the first album, Personal Effects. One of my favorites was So Hard. It was pretty cool. This is a picture of the band with Peggy Fournier. And Bernie Heveron on the bottom there, a good friend of mine. Okay. And the next album, one of the next albums they put out is This Is It. It's what do I see on here? They did End of the World by what's her name? It's one of those things I'll know it when I hear it, but the hit that you've heard before, it's The End of the World. They do a really cool version of that. There was the girl that was married to one of the guys from NRBQ. I forgot his name. I forgot her name off the top of my head. And this is one of the last ones they did as Personal Effects. One of the last ones on album, at least. It's Different Out There. That's the name of it. What's good about this, they did a cover of John Lennon's Instant Karma. It's like a bonus track on there, Instant Karma, amongst other songs. There's the band. This lineup of Peggy Fournier, Bob Martin on guitar, Robin Mills on bass, and Paul Dodd. And after Personal Effects, went into a few years, they came back as another band called Margaret Explosion. If we could focus on that. There's a swimming pool shaped like a guitar. It's pretty cool. The Margaret Explosion. That's the B side, or the back of it. This is a time killer, but I have to do it. I have to show the back of it at least. Okay. Here's another Margaret Explosion. So I took the paper out. I thought it would be less glare. Margaret Explosion right there. And they morphed into one last, or actually I'll show you one more Margaret Explosion. I got this one. It's a 45 called Purple Heart. This is like from a record store day or something, I don't know, or just some special release. Margaret Explosion also had the Juggler B-side. They became more of a jazz instrumental type group after being new wave for so many years. They kind of slowed it down and made some really cool lounge jazz, it's good. It's good music. This is a band called Out of Sight, Out of Mind. Right here, Invisible Idiot. It's another offshoot. You can't see that. It's right at the top there. And it was basically the personal effects with, Margaret Explosion with extra players on their stuff, kind of giving a more fuller sound. Invisible Idiot. And if you're lucky to find this is a Bob Martin, the guitar player, made a venture down over to England and recorded at Abbey Road. He did there's another Beatle connection. He did a duo with Tim Schweiger called Don't Blink, backed with The Verdict. It's actually on CD. There's Bob Martin leading the two of them. The Verdict. There they are together singing at Abbey Road Studios. It's kind of cool. Little piece of power pop. They actually went down Abbey Road. Taking a trip down there. The inside, has the story as well as the CD. It's a shame they couldn't have done more songs, but it's a nice thing to come out from Margaret Explosion. Bob Martin's done a lot of outside stuff too. He's been with other bands as well. But, just for the sake of keeping it together there, we'll keep them together. Okay. I think that's it. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention that there's another Van Morrison CD called, what the heck's the name of it? Oh, I'm losing my brains, I swear. Well, anyway, there's another CD that he released that had 2 songs on it. Now, this is unbelievable. One was Freight Train, and the other one was Greenback Dollar. He did his cover songs on the. It's called Skiffle. His release called Skiffle. I don't know what it even looks like. I guess it was just a short release called Skiffle. And I did my own CD. This is me, Del Rivers. And I actually covered those 2 songs. The 2 songs that he did on his CD, I did the same thing. I did it slightly before he was released. Or at least at the same time. And it just seems very bizarre. It's like Bizarro World or something, that I would do the same 2 cover songs. Glad I mentioned that. And, okay, that's enough for number 14. Gone about 13 minutes, or 14 minutes if I let it go a little bit. The next one I'm going to do, mention a few other Beatle-related releases that are down the road a little bit, like maybe their sons' Beatle releases, like James McCartney. He's got something out now I gotta find, and I'll talk about that for Beatle releases. Anyway, that's exactly 14 minutes, and I'm out of here, as Beatle Brad puts it. We'll see ya.